Hey everyone, Sarah here to talk about community macros today. I'm hoping to give you a very brief overview with this video, and also hoping to dive in deeper with you when we talk one-on-one about community macros. So without further ado, I will jump right in and start us off with the community macro project. So as you can see, the community macro project in Asana will break our community macros into 5 categories. Those categories are product, admin, pre-purchase, miscellaneous, and study help. So just a couple of things about this particular project and how it's managed, or how it's been managed so far, is that we will typically categorize any new requests from student support specialists for macros that should be added into Zendesk or edited, and we'll just kind of click and drag and add them to the appropriate category if we don't see them in the appropriate category. And beyond that, the only other thing that we do is notify the support specialist when an actual macro has either been edited or updated. So for example, if I had made an edit to late upgrade ACT, I will go right on in and just add a comment, assuming that there is a description giving more information about it. I'll just go ahead and mention that I've created this macro. I will actually copy and paste the title of the macro in here so the support specialist knows exactly what's been added into Zendesk. If this is a new macro that has not been in Zendesk before, I am not going to mark it as complete right away. I want it to have maximum visibility. So what we'll do is just click and drag it to completed macros. And I will set the date out to anywhere between 2 and 3 weeks from the date the macro was actually created. So if the macro were completed today, which is the 25th, sending out 2 weeks, I will likely close it out. Whoops, no, that's 2 weeks. Yep, so May 9th. If it makes sense to leave it out even further, go right on ahead. This is just more of a reminder as to when we should just mark the actual macro completed and kind of get it out of that view. But again, this is mainly just to kind of maximize visibility. So if other support specialists were coming in to see what recent macros were created, they can come and check it out in the completed macros section. So that's just a few things in terms of how the actual project is managed. In terms of going into Zendesk, all macros are created just by going to the admin section of Zendesk, and then under Manage, we're going to click on Macros here. If you need to edit a macro, you're going to click on an existing macro, double click, and then it will automatically open in an edit view, and you can go ahead and fix anything you need, capitalization, punctuation, any tags that may need to be added or removed. If the title needs to be updated, what have you, then you can go ahead and click on Save. So if I did make an edit, there you go. Once I change something, it will enable the Save button at the bottom. If not, it will disable the actual button itself because it reads that nothing has changed. That's simple enough. Adding macros will require a little more information. So what I will have you do is reference the Community Macros Best Practices document as to how to add macros. And within this document, you have got everything listed here from how to create a title and what the format of the actual macro title should be. It will talk a little bit about salutations and sign-offs and what that should look like. You also have information about formatting, typos, and updates. Specific actions within Zendesk. When you are actually assigning a macro, there will be 4 specific actions as listed here that you're going to want to assign. But beyond that, don't add any other actions unless requested by an in-houser. Let's see, and then some other things to consider. So without going into too much detail and making this video extremely long, I'm going to let you go ahead and read through that community macro document, and then we will, as we're working on macros one-on-one, you can come to me with your questions. If there's anything to the document that you think should be added or edited to make it more easy to understand, please let me know. Another thing that I am going to briefly mention is liquid macros. So as of a couple of weeks ago, what we have done is consolidate a lot of the macros that had very similar flavor, very similar feel, and if we if they again had a very specific subject, but were just could be, you know, we could just change it based on the actual exam type, then we went ahead and used liquid markup. Information about liquid macros is listed here. There's a little bit of programming logic associated with it. So again, this would be something, again, read through the document. It would be something that would be best done if you and I work on it one-on-one and just kind of get into it. We're dealing with, most of our macros do have if else statements. A few do have just very basic if-else statements. I've got examples of completed liquid macros for you to take a look at. And then also I've listed a couple of reference documents as well, if you want to take a look at those also. So there you have it. Go ahead, really dive into those documents, and then next steps will be for me to follow up with you and schedule a one-on-one session. Totally looking forward to that, and yeah, hope this works out. Thanks.